Hey friends, it's been a while since we did one of those sit down talky kind of videos, but I figured the end of the year is the perfect opportunity to sit down together and reflect. Because I don't know about you, but 2025 has been kind of a weird year, creatively, professionally, and emotionally. And I've been trying to make sense of it all by writing things down. So these are 25 lessons that I learned in 2025, and it's gonna be a bit of a long monologue kind of a thing, so feel free to skip around using the chapters down below. But some of these are highly personal, others are incredibly creator specific, but all of them come from a year of trying, experimenting, and rethinking how I approach this whole YouTube thing. So just in case you're new here, my name is Valentin, and I'm exploring what it takes to succeed as a YouTube creator today and what that success even looks like. Let me know what you've learned in the comments down below. The first thing, if you want to tell interesting stories, you have to live an interesting life. That is a lesson I learned from Luke Forsyth.
Go have very strange experiences and document them and then share them with other people. That's the job.
Because over the past 2 years, I've been thinking about YouTube stuff, being a creator, the creator economy, the creator culture, and just like spinning in this endless circle of creatorness. It was just this like Groundhog Day experience of like waking up, doing the same thing. And so I'm kind of embracing this lesson a little bit and started doing some more things that are not tied to work, not tied to being a creator, intentionally not being filmed. And maybe we'll get into that at a later point. But the second really huge lesson for me is that I am a creator, not a business. If you heard me talking before, you might know that I've been able to become a creator through a lot of outside support, through some incubators, through some programs that were designed to build a media business. And that really shaped what I did and what was important to me. And setting the foundation to have a business that can grow over time. That's why the newsletter was so important to me, because you need to have email addresses to be able to sell something to the people, right? But the more I've been doing this, I realized that above everything else, I am a creator. And I think the fundamental job of a creator is to build an audience and not to build a business. And once they have an audience, they can figure out how to monetize that. And that's something I will explore more next year. But in this pursuit of building a business, I kind of neglected the audience building side of things. And that's something that I put a lot of thought in this year. And just at the end of it, I feel like I have a much better grasp now on the mechanics behind building an audience. And one thing that plays into that is to stop chasing outcomes and start following systems. You know, there's always this thing with anything that has to do with creativity. It's like you don't want to put it in a box. But the box is what allows you to be creative. If you have a wide open, blank, white space, it is probably the least creative space, right? But once you have some corners and angles and colors and windows, you can start to imagine where things go. It gives you a frame to put creativity in. And I've been paying a lot more attention to the systems I use in the background and how they affect what I do, rather than chasing the I want to have 10,000 subscribers by this time, right? On the back of that comes simplify, simplify, simplify. These three, that one word repeated 3 times, is just a constant reminder to not overcomplicate things. I certainly tend to have an idea and then think of the most complicated, complex, biggest version I could possibly make. And then I have to remind myself, okay, what is the simplest version of this? This video, I would love to take you guys to 5 different locations around Vienna and record some of those lessons there. But I have Saturday morning to record this video, and that is it. And I'm going to record the whole thing here. Maybe I find time during the week to do some of this outside, but right now I'm just recording the whole thing. Keep it simple. And then reflection is essential to growth. You have to take time to reflect on your actions. That is one thing that Matthew Bliss said to me in our conversations, and who really pointed out my skill of being reflective.
So when someone like myself says to you, your ability to reflect change, remove what you don't need and keep what you do, is so normal to you, why would anyone point that out to you?
What I'm planning to do going forward is to do 3 videos each month and then take the 4th week off, or take 1 week per month off, just to reflect, do admin stuff, and reevaluate what I've been doing, or evaluate what I've been doing, how it's been doing. Okay, next thing on the list is externalize your thinking on paper. I've had a notebook this whole year, this beautiful panel book from Studio Neat. I love this thing. It fits exactly between my keyboard and my computer. And I've been doing this for the most part. I don't know if you can see this. But I've just been planning out my week, tracking things that are important to me, and having a space that lives on my desk where I write stuff down. And I've been keeping a stack of sticky notes and write ideas down and stick them to the wall. Because anytime I write stuff down on the computer, on the phone, it doesn't really exist. For me, ideas need to have object permanence to really do something for me. And it's always so dumb, but it's fascinating when I have a lot of little things to do, or it's 2 big things and 4 little things. I write them down on a piece of paper, on a sticky note that can be thrown in the trash. But the likelihood of me completing all of those 5, 6 things is so much higher than if I keep it in my brain, or put it in my calendar, or write it down in a notes app. And for me, there's nothing more satisfying than like having done something and then crossing it out. And talking about ideas, I always thought I'm a little bit the exception with having a lot of ideas throughout the day. But the more I interact with creators, the more I see that is actually a very common trait between us. And the hard part really is the choosing the right ideas at the right time. And that is something I want to explore more in the future. You can already see that in my conversation with James, where I'm trying to understand better how he's picking the things that he's building. And that's something I want to do really more of. Maybe work out a system around it. Like if you have the choice between an idea that you just had, that you're super passionate about, that you have energy about, and a backlog of 100 ideas that you could be doing, but you might be not exciting about, but they might do better, they might be more interesting. How do you pick? We should make this less gambling and more a systematic approach to what do I work on now, reducing the mental clutter. That's my goal. So stay tuned for possible solutions. We'll find out. Just do one thing. That is also a sticky note right behind my computer, because I am a single tasker. I can proudly say so. Not just when it comes to work. I edit, then I write, and then I make dinner. Don't do 3 things at the same time. I do go for walks and listen to podcasts. But most of the time, it's one of those activities that gets more attention. Sometimes, I swear, I've been on a 30-minute walk, listened to a podcast, and I have no idea what it said. It's just background chatter. I don't know, that I enjoy, I suppose, but it's not getting retained. But that is also true on a bigger scale. There was a time where I was really into filmmaking and cameras, and that is the only thing I paid attention to. I was really into D&D. I was really into YouTube and content creation. And this year has been even more specific about podcast growth, video podcast growth and packaging. And that plays into the first rule, or the first lesson about like doing things outside. I learned about myself that I really have one topic of interest at a time, but it is good to foster some things that are outside of that to make this to give this more longevity. And talking about podcast packaging or YouTube video packaging in general, be clear, not clever. One of the common advices, a common piece of advice that I'm unsubscribing from is writing 20 titles for your video. I build GPT bots about this stuff that help me come up with title ideas because I felt so unsure about what is this, who is this for, how do I make people click? Tell people what is in the video. This is a conversation with blah about blah. That's why my recent video titles have been, what is it really like to be a blank creator? Because this is a repeatable system that is true for, I think, almost every of my conversations. And instead of trying to pull out some grand achievement and selling the conversation, I'm just like, this is orange juice. You buy orange juice. You can watch orange juice. This will always be orange juice. And not like superfood from Mountain Island with climate blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no, this is orange juice. If you like it, buy it. If don't, move on. And so that is something I will double down in the future and hopefully it works out. If not, we'll find out a different system. Research. Research is something that I always looked at a chore, work, actual work. Oh, I have to do some research. But I had a conversation with Mia. Most of this ties back to a conversation I had. That research isn't about studying or learning or trying to find some obscure fact about a person or a topic that you're interested in. It is about connecting the dots and creating a deeper relationship with the person, with the topic that you're interested in. And once you know the whole story of the guest, that is really just a beginning. That is the A, and then the thesis of the conversation, the topic of conversation, the idea of the video. That is what gets people to the end, to Z. Instead of inviting somebody on the show and exploring their story, now the story can become a starting point. And you can go much more in depth and can ask much more interesting questions and build sort of a tension around this, an arc around this, because ask people about their story. How did you become this? How did you become blah? In 99% of times, it's going to be a very convoluted mess of things that is not very entertaining to listen to. Which is why I always cut this down a lot or cut this out completely from my conversations. So yeah, the story is just the A, the thesis of the video, of the conversation. That gets people to the end, to the Z. The next one is a really personal one that I have to enforce myself, and that has made the biggest difference in my day-to-day. And that is, don't edit and publish on the same day. I cannot state how big of a difference that made, because I used to, pretty much all of my videos this year, get up in the morning on Thursdays and I was like, I just have to do a few little tiny tweaks and maybe make a thumbnail still. And somehow the whole day is gone and it's like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to upload. And then, I just export the video and have to watch it to make sure there's no mistakes in there. There's no rendering glitch or something, that everything is correct in the back end. And it creates an enormous amount of tension, a bunch of molecules, chemicals in my body. And there is no release valve for this because there aren't 100 people showing up in my living room and be like, yo, good job. It goes live and maybe 5 people watch it, maybe 100 people watch it. Maybe 60 people watch it in a week. That is not really a good way of releasing this pressure. And, you know, in the summer, cool. I can go for a run and try to forget about it, but my brain's still spinning. And I'm still just waiting for that digital validation to roll in. But in contrast, since I've, applied this rule, I have all of Thursday to finish and make the video and do all the things that need to get done. And then I ideally upload it and schedule it, and by the time I wake up Friday morning, the video is live. When it comes to long-form videos, it is an investment, and all the short-form stuff, that is marketing for me. That is heavily inspired by my conversation with Charles, and seeing the staying power of a long-form YouTube video versus a short-form vertical video is wild. Videos that I've uploaded years ago are still getting a decent amount of views. And through some deliberate steps this year, I was even able to reactivate some old videos and bring them back to life a little bit. And I've never seen that with short form. And it just seems like you're putting stuff out and then it's gone. And like, why am I even making this? I've just always been slightly obsessed with sustainability, I suppose. And on the other side of this, the metrics are really meaningless. The metrics are meaningless is something I wrote because it looks good on paper. They can give you a really good insight. They can. That's the emphasis. They can give you a really good insight into what is a good video. But I've had multiple instances this year of videos that had above average stats, and it has under 200 views, and it's not growing. The only thing, actually the one thing I am keeping an eye on is the average view duration overall on the channel. Is that going up or not? If this is going up, that is a good sign. But maybe that's a future video there, because I just recently explored this and I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Either host events or make YouTube videos. I've said like every other month this year, oh, I'm gonna do monthly meetups in Vienna. I've been doing monthly meetups with the community. Nope, I am not. And it stresses me out. And I feel much more comfortable making videos. And so that's what I've been focusing on. But when it comes to the Orbit community, when it comes to hosting online meetups, events, that will be coming back next year in a more systematic, more simpler approach, combining everything that I've learned. And we'll get to the community aspect in a minute. But I understand making videos is my native canvas. Bringing people together in a physical space is a little bit of a challenge for me as an introvert. And that's why I focus either on one or the other, and most of the time it's video. And when it comes to this difference between building a business versus being a creator, the big shift this year has been to bring people to YouTube. Don't pull them away. Because with this business mindset, from day one, I had a newsletter and be like, come sign up to the newsletter, pulling away from YouTube instead of trying to get more people to the channel. And so that's been a huge mindset shift. And trying to figure out how to bring people to the channel, build the audience, and we'll find other ways to connect. Curate your feed. That is part of that. I unsubscribed from a bunch of newsletters, most of them, to be honest, because that's the only place I really have control over what I see and what I don't see. I think we all played around with AI a lot, maybe some more, some less. I play around with every single day. But it moves and an incomprehensible speed. And early this year, not a single day went by where I didn't get my mind blown, but like, oh my gosh, you can do that? Oh my gosh, you gave me this response? That's wild. But it's really important to not let it steer the ship. You and I, we as people, we're the captain. And AI is a incredibly optimistic, confident thing that can tell you stuff. But it doesn't know left from right. It doesn't know the physical space. It doesn't know your human limitations. And so don't let it push you in a direction that isn't helpful. You have to make the decision and evaluate everything in the real world. Because right now, we still live in a real world with physical limitation. And when it comes to orbit and its direction, this channel has turned from being a channel about being a creator or trying to understand how creators work, why people do want to become creators, this blah, to this channel. Orbit for Creators is a channel about success and what that looks like for an independent creator today. This simple phrase took me nearly 3 years to come up with, and it's always so obvious once you have it, but centering this whole channel around success for creators, how to get there, what that looks like, that has been the guiding direction for the last couple of months, and we'll dive into further next year. Okay, final stretch. Running a community doesn't take a lot of time, but it takes a lot of emotional energy. I'm pretty sure that's going to come up in a conversation next week with Matthew Bliss about themes. But launching the Orbit community early this year was so important to me because even before launching this channel, I thought that's the thing I need to do. Create an online community for creators. I've ran communities for other creators and always found joy in it. I always organized calls between creators, took any opportunity to chat with them. And so this seemed like the natural step to do. But having this huge backend and this pressure of people paying me for something that I really didn't define what it is and showing up intentionally there while still running a YouTube channel, or not even running, trying to grow a YouTube channel, being a role model or a marker of success, all while people who want to become creators is a very volatile group, because a lot of people start, then people drop off, and then life happens, and then I want to get back into videos. And we all have this fluctuating level of where we are in terms of being a creator. And dealing with all of this, as I said, while trying to grow my own channel, was just emotionally unbearable for me. And the goal is to simplify, systematize, and put this in a brand new packaging next year. I'll probably send out a newsletter about this because that is the simplest way to reach the people that want to know about this. But I'm also very likely going to make a video about this and probably mention that in the videos coming up, because that has also been a real challenge too. Like, launching the community was a big effort, and then I never talked about it because I didn't even know what the thing is that I sold. It's just like, here, I built a structure, now let's come build a house together. But now I feel like I have a much better grasp on what I'm building, what I am promising. And yeah, if you want to know about this, stay tuned. Maybe sign up for that newsletter if you care. Really important life lesson: daily movement is essential. That can be as simple as taking a 30-minute walk, because I live and work in this space here, and just going outside once a day is kind of crucial. I got weights, I started running, I picked up skateboarding again. That is so fun. The second to last point is really the culmination, or really ties back to the very first point of having life experiences. Because playing pretend can feel much more real than the world that we live in. One thing I did this year is I attended a LARP event, my very first LARP event. Probably the first time I dressed up or put on a costume in my adult life. And it's really fun. And I have to be careful that this does not take over my life and becomes a single focus. But it is something I want to do more of, and I will be attending my next one in February. And yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm probably not going to talk much about this on this channel, but maybe a different outlet, or maybe I just keep this private for myself. Also an option. Okay, and then last point, unsurprisingly, forget the algorithm, create it with friends. That came straight out of the conversation with Mel, and it has become the slogan that of the channel and what resonates with people and what I'm trying to embrace every single day. So those were my 25 lessons for 2025. Let me know in the comments what you have learned this year, if any of this resonates with you. And there is one more episode coming out about themes and how they help you shape your year. Stay tuned for that, and then I'll see you in the next year. All right, take care and bye.